Another libtard podcast.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, we're live.
Yep.
Live at the perfect moment.
Yep.
Did you guys not see the countdown?
No, I saw it. That's why I said it.
Okay, that's what I figured. Oh, good times. Hello and welcome to episode number 861 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. I am your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I feel like my video's stuttering.
I feel like it is too, but I don't know why.
I think the
It's
resolution
probably
might be too
fine.
high.
It's probably fine.
There. How's that?
Don't
That's
worry
better.
too much. Don't worry
That's
too
better.
much about it.
No, it's
There
too
you
bad. It's too late. I'm worrying.
Okay.
Are you now in
This is me
performance
worrying.
mode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more real-time reflections here.
And
That's
I see
okay.
once again
That
we
back
are
there, is just a media file that's been attached to the texture.
we are rebroadcasting another race inadvertently, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
well,
like
maybe not
an
inadvertent.
eighth of another race inadvertently. I mean,
And
there's,
it's in it's being reflected, so it's in mirror mode.
yeah. So YouTube won't care.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the trick. You play it flipped, you play it in a smaller window.
I'm no fool.
Usually have a border of
I
some
internet.
kind.
I
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Have the little window with
Yeah,
the
there's
border.
a border back there.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
Yeah. You're the
Have
border.
the sounds
Your
kind
face
of
is the
go
border.
wonky every 20 seconds or so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Fool the
It-
algorithm.
Be fine.
It's working well. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
That's me.
Uh-huh.
How's it going?
It's going just great. How are you?
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. I got here. I'll give you a litter robot update. Hot
Oh,
off the
God.
press.
Oh,
My
your
cats are
cat
using
hot
the
off-
robot.
Hot off of
They're
something.
using the robot now.
Okay.
After a very long.
Or is the robot using them?
Well,
To
Yeah.
the
fulfill
robot's
its purpose.
into being pooped on. So
Yep.
that's right. It only took weeks, and
Yeah.
it took buying this
Next,
stuff
that
called.
robot's going to run for president.
I think I mentioned it maybe
Mhm.
on the show. Litter attractant. Did I talk about litter attractant?
litter
on
attractant.
the show?
Is
Anyway, I
that-
put it in the litter
that
robot,
the
and it makes
fetish
them go
that you
in
have?
there. It makes the cats go in there. It's
Oh,
a natural sort of herb like catnip or whatever, but they go in there and they they scrape around.
mhm.
And after we did that and then removed the old litter box, then they started using the new one. Yeah.
I see.
So
I love that. CJ
Technology.
just powers through all of Phil's interruptions at this point.
technology has won the day. Yes, I am powering through Phil's interruptions. But hey, there you go.
Mhm.
Very excited. Technology doing its thing. Cats doing their thing. Technology doing its thing. That's how that works.
But you needed some natural herbs in order to get the cats to do their thing.
I did. I
So,
needed.
It's nature and technology working together in harmony.
Yes.
So it's a powerful lesson for humanity as a whole.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
speaking of humanity,
Oh, yeah.
I
You want me to
just
do
go
the
into a sales
advertisement
pitch.
now, or
We'll
or a
get
little bit later?
we'll get to
We'll
your
get
precious game.
We'll get there.
My goodness,
We're going to be talking about humanity on this here podcast.
that's all we're talking about this week.
We did our Zelda thing. We're
Yeah,
done
we did.
with that game.
Zelda's done.
What's
Tears of the
humanity?
Kingdom, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm still playing a heck of a lot of Tears of the Kingdom. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, we should talk about some video game news.
Here we go.
And I would like to first bring up that Sony is holding a PlayStation showcase this upcoming week. Wednesday, May 24th is the day, 1 p.m. Pacific. And don't get your hopes up.
I never do.
I mean, my hopes are already kind of up there. Like, I'm hoping to see some PSVR 2 stuff, maybe some Spider-Man
I love
2
seeing Spider-Man too.
stuff. I would love to see that. So that already, I think, implies a certain level of hype.
Mm-hmm.
But where are you guys at? You're so Greg. You say you want to see some
Well,
Spider-Man 2. What else? What else are you looking forward to
what I
seeing?
was going to say, because I mean we've talked about this, especially when E3 comes around, or as in the case of this year, doesn't come around.
Hmm.
How E3 is kind of outdated because now everybody can have their own showcases and things like that. But I've realized because of that, I
Yeah.
do not pay attention to any of these.
Mm.
Like there's zero hype around this stuff for me at this point. I wait to hear what other people say was covered, and I might go watch the trailers of the things that I find semi interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't tune in at this
Yeah.
point for any of them. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, none of them. So I mean, my hype level is I hope someone tells me about something that was really cool this week so I can go watch the trailer.
I'm sure it will be pretty cool. But where are you at with this, Phil? What's your level of hype?
Well, I'll be
if
honest.
any?
I'm in kind of the same boat as Greg. I tend to not watch these live. The only exception is if I happen to be at work when one of these is being broadcast and other people who sit around me say, "Oh, there's going to be a thing in a couple minutes," and then I will tune in and watch it with other people at work.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, it'd be cool to see Spider-Man. I'm going to be buying Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Regardless. So
anyway, just
so
you
it's
don't
like,
need to see another trailer.
you don't need to keep
ready?
selling me on it. I'm going to be buying it.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a new Astrobot?
See, that would be exciting.
Because if not, I don't really care what they show.
Well, this show is going to be a bit over an hour.
Okay.
Is what they're saying, focusing on PS5 and PSVR 2 games in development from top studios around the world.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I won't be excited about anything that's shown.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I'm happy to wait until it's over and somebody posts, here's everything that was shown at the showcase with links to trailers. And then I will watch the trailers for this, because there's plenty of cool stuff. Like, yeah, any decent PSVR 2 stuff, I'm all over it. I want to see it, and Spider-Man, Wolverine, whatever else Sony's got up its sleeve. I'm sure it'll be exciting, but it's not so much that I'm not excited about the games. It's just that, again, it happens frequently enough now that it's not an event. Like E3, the excitement of that week was the first 3 days tuning into those press conferences, and we don't have that now. So, and it's like how a new Mario Brothers used to be super exciting because there were like 4 or 5 years between each one.
Yeah.
And now, no, I'm just kidding. But
what do you mean?
it's actually, you know what it is? It's Star
Wars. A long
Wars.
time.
I know. That's why I'm saying it's a terrible example. It's Star Wars. It used to be super exciting when something new Star Wars came out, and now it's just a new Star Wars thing.
You mean like the TV shows and movies and such?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a new Marvel thing.
Yeah, same thing. MCU, same thing too. I have hit the tipping point, and I think a lot of people have, where it's like, oh, okay, there's a new Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Although I heard Guardians 3 is really good.
Guardians 3 is quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is out. I wanted to watch Ant-Man before we went and saw Guardians 3. Not because I'm super excited about Ant-Man, but it's just my weird thing about trying to watch them all as they're released. But I also couldn't be bothered to go pay to see Ant-Man in the theater.
There is absolutely zero connection between the two, so you will lose nothing.
I believe you.
Will lose nothing.
But either way, I'm going to watch Quantumania this week because it's on Disney Plus now. And hey, who knows for how long?
Yeah, how about that trend? Streaming services taking content off. Yes, you can have a limitless library.
I feel like we're no further ahead than we were with cable 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Except we're paying more.
Well, that's a definite. Yeah.
If only some people could find ways to preserve this content that is being taken away. I hope someday someone does.
Yes. All right. Let's.
You play a lot of Sea of Thieves, don't you, CJ?
Where did that come from?
Yeah. Where is this going?
No, I don't know. I'm just remembering that. Just remembering how you enjoy
I do.
role playing as a chivalrous pirate.
Oh,
Going around.
I do.
Oh, I get it.
That's the only
treasures,
kind of
actually,
piracy that I partake in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Glance.
I don't know. I'll just check Kotaku and see where I can go for that stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yikes. All right, well, let's talk about this. So Nintendo has announced that we are getting some new Game Boy Advance content on Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack this week, and it's 3 Super Mario Advance games.
Yes.
So that includes Super Mario Advance, which is a remake of Super Mario Brothers 2.
I love the Super Mario Advance games because they are not at all confusing in their naming.
Right?
Not at all confusing at all. So
No.
Super Mario Advance 2, which is Super Mario World.
Right.
And then Super Mario Advance 3, which is Yoshi's Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But unfortunately we're not getting Super Mario Advance 4 or Super Mario Brothers 3.
Right.
That's already out.
That's already out.
It's already there. All right.
It's already there. So we have that one.
Yeah, we have 4, which is 3, but now we need 1, which is 2.
Yeah.
2, which is 4, and 3, which is
5. Technically,
Gaiden.
Technically,
Gaiden.
4 2.
Yeah.
4-2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This would be like resurrecting an old franchise from the 90s and just starting at 1 again. It's crazy.
Yeah. I can't imagine anyone doing that.
No.
What are you talking about? What?
Come on, man.
You mean Mortal Kombat 1?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
But you've ruined it now.
Mortal Kombat 1, the second reboot.
The second reboot.
Yeah, right.
Remember, Mortal Kombat 9 is Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 9 was Mortal Kombat, and now Mortal Kombat. What number is this?
I just feel so old.
10. Is it 10 or 11?
I don't even know. No, it's past 11, I think.
I think it might be 12. I think Mortal Kombat 12 might be Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
Because Mortal Kombat
and there's
1...
a very who's on first type thing that's going to be happening.
Right.
It's people talking about MK1.
Well, because it worked so well with Xbox.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Xbox? The Xbox One or the Xbox One?
Oh, yeah. I played Halo on that.
Right.
No. You played Halo on Xbox. This is Xbox One. Right. The first Xbox. We all played Halo on it. We had such a good time.
What's on second?
Third base.
Exactly.
Yes. I feel like it's more a sign that we're just getting old rather than, rather than being
getting
an
old.
idea, because there are a lot of people for whom, well, no, I shouldn't say that. There aren't a lot of people for whom this will be the first Mortal Kombat, but never mind. I take it back.
There are people for whom this will be the first.
Yeah, but they're probably not going to be old enough to play it. Well, unless they're CJ's kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is Mortal Kombat 12.
Yeah, okay.
But it's Mortal Kombat 1. And you know what? No. I don't think. Look, I am super comfortable with being old and out of touch. But
well, I mean, we talk about it every week.
Absolutely. But saying the 12th entry in your series, which isn't actually, because of course there are all the spin-offs, but numerically the 12th game in the series, calling it Mortal Kombat 1. Come on. When there's already been 2 games just called Mortal Kombat, one of which was the 9th in the series.
I'll be honest. I think this is actually on our outline, but so this is like a reboot. Yeah. Is it like a modern remake? I didn't look up what it is. I just know that it's called Mortal Kombat 1.
It's a series reboot. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was also what Mortal Kombat 9 was.
But I guess what I'm asking is it more of a, because 9 was like, it was a reboot, but it wasn't an attempt to kind of like remake the first game in a more modern way. It was like a complete series restart, right? Like, is that what this is as well, or is it? Because I think it'd be kind of neat if they were just sort of remaking the original game for the most part.
No, it's
as a modern game.
There's some sort of like time travel element or something in it. I watched the trailer.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because the Mortal Kombat games are really good.
Yes, they've been quite good.
So, yeah. But the naming thing is hilarious.
Yes.
All right, we're done talking about that, CJ. What's next?
We're done talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to say?
Oh, there's nothing more to say.
You
I
want to
was
go
just
back and
gonna
talk
say
about
there have been
Mario?
multiple reboots of like comic book movies, like Spider-Man, over the last 20.
That's true.
3 years.
Yeah, I know. That makes me feel old too.
Well, okay. I'm not making us feel any better here. Going back to the Mario Advance games,
Yes.
and those being reboots, what do you want to see Nintendo do with Mario next? I mean, we had Odyssey, which is a fantastic game.
Yes.
We did Bowser's Fury, which I thought was a fantastic game too.
Yep.
And we've been given all of these games now on NSO. It doesn't look like they're going back to the Super Mario Maker but maybe they could. But what do you think? What do you want to see Nintendo do with Mario next? Now that we're like post movie,
That I don't know. Just another Mario game. I don't really think about it too often. Like
you just want them to make another Mario game? Just make
sure.
another. Just
I mean,
another.
what
you don't have
would
any
you want
vision?
something different?
You don't have any vision for what
Nope.
you might.
What do you want? Like a big open world Breath of the Wild Mario?
Oh, okay, there's what I don't want.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want that.
Oh
Yeah.
no, not at all.
No. You don't want Mario's shoes to degrade and she can only stomp on Goombas. If he fixes
anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, he has to fuse.
Although
shoes.
I will say, I mean, Bowser's Fury did work.
Yes,
Don't get me wrong. Like
it did.
That proved, and I was very skeptical that would work. So I don't know. I don't know that I want a full-sized Mario game like that. But man, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe a big hub world that branches off into smaller, self-contained type things. I don't know.
Like if that was sort of like one section of a larger game, I think that.
But I mean, I feel like we'll probably get. I mean, like Mario Odyssey for the most part was just the same format as Mario 64 with a gimmick, right? I mean, that's what it'll be, and that's fine. That's what's worked for Mario for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was an interview with Aonuma this week. I forget which outlet it was, where he said something like, "This is the template for Zelda games going forward."
Of course.
Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, that's the template now.
Why wouldn't it be?
And why wouldn't it be? Exactly. But I'm wondering, like, do we feel like we're going to get to that point with Mario? Like, where
I feel like
is
we've been
Mario
at that point with Mario. I feel like Galaxy was a bit of a, a dalliance away from what the format is. But otherwise, I think for most of the mainline Mario games outside like the new Super Mario Brothers, which was just the classic Mario style remade, Mario 64 has been the template for Mario for 25 years or however old that game is.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it changed. Like they like I said, they add gimmicks like shooting, having a pack with water in it and shooting water at things, or
throwing your hat,
or the hat. And that's fine. But I feel like the main premise has been the same for decades at this point. And I'm okay with it personally. I mean, it works. It works for that character.
And then if there is any truth to that rumor that they're making a Donkey Kong game,
I hope it's Donkey Kong Country.
So why
maybe
is
they
that?
can hire maybe they can hire Rare back. Maybe Microsoft will let them outsource it to Rare.
I'd love to see a non-retro studios made Donkey Kong game. I think that'd be fun. See like a Nintendo EPD Donkey Kong game. I think that'd be fun.
I think they should just do the Return of Donkey Kong like they promised in the NES Player's Guide.
That was
those many years ago.
That was in an issue of the Fun Club News too, I think, right?
Was it really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to know what that game was. What were they referring to?
Was it ever anything beyond that title?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What we need to do is we need to get an interview with Miyamoto again so that we can just ask that question and duck out. That'll be our Nintendo Joe moment at a press conference. We'll get up there. Excuse me, Miyamoto-san. You tell us more about Return of Donkey Kong.
It's completely ambushed the poor man.
Yeah.
Talk about this thing from like 45 years ago.
Exactly.
Tell us everything you know about it.
So Mortal Kombat 1 got announced.
Yes.
It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store. So they're going everywhere all at once,
right?
As they say. But yeah, so that's exciting.
Did you see the leaks that supposedly came out?
I didn't really follow the leaks.
Oh, okay. No. There's it was some retailer, I forget exactly who, and I don't think it was in the US, but some retailer accidentally posted something about like season passes and unlockable characters that are going to come in those.
Yeah.
And they have some more of the
Noob Saibot.
Well, no, like licensed stuff.
Licensed, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Batman, Superman.
Like
who
RoboCop
was it?
From the
RoboCop, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well,
the wait, how many Mortal Kombats ago was RoboCop?
The Joel Kinnaman RoboCop. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, they got Peter Weller to do.
Oh no, you mean from the game?
From the game, yeah.
Yes.
Which Mortal Kombat was that? Was that 11 or was that?
I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one RoboCop was in. But it's supposedly, and these are rumors to be sure. But it's one of the characters from The Boys, Homelander.
Oh wow, cool! Yet. Haven't you? You should watch The Boys.
I've heard it's quite good.
It is so good.
I've heard it's very good.
I've heard it's good too.
Yeah, that Homelander would fit as a Mortal Kombat character, big time.
And also, another superhero show I haven't watched, Invincible, based on the comic book.
Seen that.
The dad character, whose name I forget, but I believe J.K. Simmons voices him.
Sold.
Yeah, and apparently Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Just like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So now this is kind of like Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
Absolutely. This is what we've always wanted.
He should be in full Guile gear. That'd be
Omni-Man. That's the character. Omni-Man is the invincible guy.
They have to have a cosmetic for Jean-Claude Van Damme that is very similar to his movie Street Fighter costume, right? I mean,
that would be hilarious.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Have it like just close enough where
it's not like it infringes too hard on what Guile looks like in the game anyway. It barely looked. No. It didn't really look like him in the movie. It was like blue camo, wasn't it? That's all it really was.
Yeah, exactly. And a beret,
little blue beret, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Micah in the chat saying RoboCop was Mortal Kombat 11. There you go. Thank you for that.
There we go.
All right. Let's get on to what you've been playing.
Okay.
Now, Phil.
Yeah.
You have a long list of games here.
I do have a whole bunch of crap.
Go first. Yeah.
But it's mostly quick little crap that I know you guys don't care about, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it.
Quick
Phil,
little
care
crap.
about what you play.
No, you don't. You absolutely. I guarantee you do not. But that's fine.
I care about a few games in this list. So.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
You will certainly notice there's no Zelda on this list.
I did notice that.
I noticed.
And that is because I haven't bounced off Zelda already, as
we all expect you to.
Predicted.
Yeah.
And I may very well.
Yeah.
As we discussed last week, I really enjoyed my time with Zelda. Getting through that first kind of tutorial, those first couple hours. And I fully intend to go back to it, but I made the executive decision to put Zelda on hold for now. That I've gone through the first part because I want to finish up Jedi Survivor because I'm having an absolute blast with Jedi Survivor, and I know that if I try and split my time between the two, neither will be finished. So
yeah.
I want to get through Jedi Survivor first. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to say this. After, spending several hours playing Jedi Survivor, and then switching to Zelda and playing that for, I mean, how long was that intro segment? Half a dozen hours?
I don't
Maybe?
think it was that
What?
long. No.
Zelda? No, it was like
Yeah.
4.
4 hours. Okay, 4
3?
hours.
4?
4 hours maybe. And then putting that down and going back to Jedi, there was about a half hour of gameplay time where I was just like, boy, I don't remember what any of these controls do. You know?
Yeah.
Wait a second, this isn't the jump button. I know one of these locks on. Took me a little while to sort of readjust.
There's a specific option in Zelda to put the jump button down on.
Which I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I did. I did change the jump
I found
button.
it was very interesting that there's a specific option for that.
Yeah.
Just like in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild had the same.
I don't remember. Like I said, but I mean, we're gonna get into this anyway. Like I said before, I have very little memory of Breath of the Wild.
It's been a while.
Breath of the Wild, and I wasn't super crazy about that game anyway. So
you never finished it, right?
Yeah, I did. Phil's the one who
did
finish it.
Okay. Phil
I didn't finish it.
Okay.
But I'm still having a blast with Star Wars. I am I have no idea how far I am into that game. Like I said, this game is significantly longer than I kind of assumed it was going to be. But still having a blast. I am amused at how that game has homages, I guess, to gameplay mechanics from other games.
Really?
Like there's a at one point you discover some chocobos. And I mean they're clearly just Star Wars versions of chocobos, and you can they're giant chickens. They're giant space chickens, and you mount them and you can ride around and they're a fast traversal method. But at one point they specifically mention how you can jump off of them to get a little extra height from your jump.
Oh, like Yoshi.
Just like Yoshi. And I believe you actually get like a trophy or an achievement for sacrificing one of them, like jumping over a pit.
That's great.
And then bouncing off of it and plummeting it to its demise.
Okay.
And I also found I didn't find it. It's part of the story. But at one point, your little robot buddy, he's right there. He's hidden by the logo. There's the little Lego guy. My little Lego BD1 is complete now. He's got his head and everything. But at one point, he gains the ability to spray out some kind of crystalline goo. That is
sexy.
Which is it's flammable, and you use it to solve
just
puzzles.
Like you do. Yep.
Yeah, by you lead a trail of fire over here to burn some shrubbery that's blocking your path or something. But it was just it's suddenly it's like, oh, I'm playing Mario Sunshine now because you have the the little flood tank mechanic. It's like that kind of thing. So also, one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this game is it is very, very good at scale. There's a lot of big things in this game, crashed spaceships and giant monsters and giant mechanical devices that are all really, really just well rendered and fun to explore. I'm having a blast with this Star Wars game.
Excellent.
Yeah. Set phasers to fun.
Nope, wrong.
Am I right?
No.
You know what I'm saying. What else have I been playing? Let me go through some of this. Okay, so I have these anime tokusatsu games that I played last week. So
a lot of them from the looks of it.
Well, you know what? Only 2 of them are actual licensed things. So we got the Mazinger Z game, which came out as an arcade archive, and this is an what's that?
Nice.
Yes, it's an old Namco vertical scrolling shooter from the arcades. I don't know if it's was ever released in the US. I would imagine not.
I don't think so.
But yeah, it's just an old vertical scrolling shooter. It looks great. You can play as different Mazinger robots, and it's not much to say. It's a vertical scrolling shooter. from the
It
old
is
arcade.
different. It differs a little bit from other Arcade Archives games, right?
Are you talking about the price?
I'm talking about the price.
He's talking about the price. So yes, as we've discussed on this show before, Arcade Archives are fantastic. They're about $8 a pop, which is a little pricey. This one is, I believe, $15.
$15, yeah.
You're getting hit with some licensing tax.
Paying for a license, yeah.
Paying for the license. Which, hey, if that sort of pricing means we can get licensed games in Arcade Archives, I am all for it.
Absolutely.
I am ready to plunk down
$14.99
for Popeye, for instance.
Are you kidding? In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. I would probably pop down $30, let's be honest, to play Arcade Perfect Popeye. That was one of the very first video games I ever played.
Let's not give him any ideas, CJ. $15 is fine.
$15 is fine. Yes.
I mean, yeah, certainly Nintendo has released plenty of games through Arcade Archives.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
I would absolutely pay $15 for Popeye. For sure.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and purchase Mazinger Z to put in my vote as a consumer.
Do it.
That licensed Arcade Archives
play 3 different super robots. They all have different attacks.
It looks cool. This game is right up my alley.
It is actually a really cool old school shooter. I mean, like I said, there's not a whole lot to discuss gameplay wise unless you want to get deep into shooter mechanics, which I don't because I'm not that hardcore about these things, but
also this is from a time where it's just before bullet hell shooters kind of took over that genre, right?
Yes.
It's still fun. It's still from that time when shooters were fun for me to play.
Absolutely.
And we're not only targeted towards people who were crazy about the genre.
This was originally a 1994 arcade game. I just looked that up. So
that's awesome.
And it looks great. It's a very pretty looking game. Based on 1994 arcade standards. The other very Japanese game that I got is indeed the new Kamen Rider game, SD Shin Kamen Rider Rumble.
Sounds like a fighting game already.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Which is it a fighting game? Is it a Smash Brothers clone?
It is not a Smash Brothers clone. It is not a fighting game. It is a side-scrolling brawler.
Oh, okay.
With as so many games these days have a kind of roguelite mechanic to it. So, it's all done in that kind of SD chibi style. It honestly looks kind of like a Flash game. It's, it looks nice, looks cute and cartoony, but it's very much like that kind of puppety type animation. And you just go around and you beat up a bunch of agents of Shocker, the villainous organization from the upcoming Shin Kamen Rider, which I am totally seeing next week in theaters. I'm very excited.
All right.
But you beat up a bunch of dudes, you earn some coin. When you eventually die, you go back to your headquarters, you spend your money on upgrades to make yourself stronger. You go back into it. And the way it's set up is there are branching. You'll go through a level and you can branch off into one of 2 different stages. So there, you can play through multiple paths and see new levels and such. But it's, would I recommend it to anyone who is not excited about Shin Kamen Rider? Probably not. But for me, absolutely. Plus, there's DLC that lets you play as an Evangelion unit, as Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman, which
you're all about that.
I mean, that's
they've got you.
What else do you want?
Is it just a picture of you on the cover, or
I might as well be. I don't know if did you see me? I tweeted this out a couple days ago as part of that whole like Shin Japanese heroes universe that they've created. There's a toy coming out Did you see this?
I saw your tweet.
CJ saw, Greg did not. There's a toy coming out over in Japan, of course, where you get a figure. It's figures of Godzilla and Shin Ultraman. It was Shin Godzilla, of course. Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider on his little motorcycle, and then one of the Evangelion units. And they all transform and combine into a giant robot.
I think I did see that.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I'm very
There's
excited.
nothing more Phil than that.
I've got my pre-order in already.
No item. Yeah.
I'm very, very hyped. Oh, I also pre-ordered a Analog Duo.
Oh, right.
Those went live.
I want one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't pull the trigger.
Oh man. I couldn't. I mean, I love me a TurboGrafx.
See, I don't have a big TurboGrafx library, so
oh really?
I don't know that it would have been worth it.
Okay, I do still have my big collection of Turbo games from all those years ago. So
this is a new TurboGrafx card and CD system in the sort of same style as their.
Looks like a mini Duo.
Super analog. What were the Genesis and
Mega SG and Super NT?
Yes,
Super NT. Yeah,
they're
cool.
fake.
But it's interesting, right? Because this is the first time Analog's done a disk drive, right?
Yes,
which I'm interested to hear how that goes.
Hopefully, it goes well. Yeah, I mean, their other stuff has always been
so
very good.
Parts to it,
Yeah,
their existing stuff being so good gives me hope that that this will be good.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, I got mine ordered. They claim it's going to ship this year.
Hopefully, though, like I see, and I don't know what the deal is with a Turbo EverDrive. If you can play CD games off a Turbo EverDrive at this point.
Oh, right.
But if they do ever end up with that, if it doesn't exist already, and they do ever end up with that, I sure hope that it's not a situation where you can't use a Turbo EverDrive to play CD images because there's a CD drive.
Oh, right.
In this thing. Because I know that with the Mega SD that I have, and now the Mega EverDrive as well does this, where it will play Sega CD games, but it has to do with the architecture of the systems. If you're in a system where there's a physical Sega CD attached to it, it won't do that.
Oh, really?
And it's not because they block it on purpose. It's the system architecture. Right. Something about it. I can't explain it. I don't really know exactly how it works. But so as an example, like if I was to use that Mega SD card reader in, say, my CDX, which is a combo unit, I couldn't play Sega CD games off of the Mega SD.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious to hear about stuff like that.
We shall see. We'll see.
But it looks cool.
What else? Oh, on the kind of anime inspired game front, I did pick up for the Switch this week a game called Assault Suits Vulcan Declassified, which I'm guessing you guys have not heard of.
No, but it already sounds like an RTS. Is it an RTS?
I'll tell you what it is, because you have heard of this game, just not under that name. Have you heard of the Konami Super NES classic Cybernator?
Is this part of the Assault Suit Lennis?
This is Cybernator.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is actually Cybernator.
Okay.
It was released on the Switch in its original uncensored form, because apparently Cybernator had some stuff cut out of it when it was released over here. It's got a new translation. And
isn't the president assassinated in like the intro to this game or something?
I believe he commits suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which they cut out, but it's in this with, like I said, with a whole new translation.
Interesting. Okay.
And did you ever play Cybernator?
No.
It's a good game. It's a very good game.
I'm trying to figure out. It's part of the series.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessarily a sequel, because Assault Suit Lennis came out here as Target Earth on the Genesis.
This is a prequel to Target Earth.
Okay, so it's a prequel. Yeah, I did know that, and that's cool to hear, because I mean, they re-released, they released like a modernized version of Assault Suit Lannis years ago.
Oh, did they?
Like the PlayStation 4 and everything. I have a physical copy for the PlayStation 4.
Huh.
Nice.
So,
yeah, they
hard
did
as nails, that game, but good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And they did a great job of bringing this over. It looks great. It sounds great. You know, the new translation is fantastic. They have a pretty lengthy interview on here with the guy who designed all the mechs and did all the graphics for the game, which is actually it's a really interesting interview. I sat and watched all of that, and they even went so far as to take like the original Japanese strategy guide for the game, which is like, you know, it's like an 80-page strategy guide. They have it all scanned in here, and they translated it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they went all out.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and you know, this actually came out a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. I'm not exactly sure. But it came out. It was $25.
Jesus.
Yeah, came out like, March 30th.
Okay. Yeah, it launched at $25, but it's on sale now for $15. So I finally pulled the trigger.
Digital or is it physical?
Digital. I don't think there's a physical release.
Yeah.
So
what system is it for?
Switch.
It's on Switch. I might be on like PS4 or PS5. I'm not exactly sure.
Interesting.
But I, like I said, I picked up the Switch version.
It's only on Switch.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
Okay. So might be worth checking out because Cyberdata is a great game.
Now they need to get Assault Suit Lannis 2 out.
I mean, vote with your dollars, Greg.
Right.
What else? Oh, I got the new Lego Drive game, Lego 2K Drive.
Talk to me about this.
Yeah, how is it?
I can't talk to you much about it because I've only played it for like half an hour or so. I was just kind of noodling around with the tutorial.
How hard does it hit you over the head with the microtransactions?
Well, I'm going to say this.
How many currencies are in this game?
I'll say, let me get the good news out of the way first.
Okay.
It seems really good. The driving controls are fantastic. You know, you're driving around in kind of this open world, which is a lot of fun to just drive through and smash stuff.
And it looks awesome too.
It does. Like, it looks great.
Behind the car. I was watching some streams of it.
Yeah.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yep. It's got a plot. There's a story to it, and it's very much in keeping with kind of the Lego games sensibility. What's that?
Are you racing the Master Builders?
You are not. You are there. There's an evil racer. There's an evil rival racer who has a name that I do not remember, but he hates you for
being you.
Undefined reasons, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he wants to stop you. And you know, so yeah, it's that very kind of like lighthearted, silly Lego game humor, which is great. Boy, oh boy, this game I paid $100 for because I wanted the special edition that came with the.
God,
here it comes.
Came with the little Lego set and came with the season 1 pass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they want you to spend more money.
Of course they do.
Yeah. If you go into the shop to purchase new cars to race or new minifigures to be as your main character or new parts that you can use to build new cars, they are all hideously expensive. And you know, you can,
and they can all be purchased with real money.
Well, you can. No, that would be terrible, Greg. What you do is you spend real money to purchase coins, and you use those coins to purchase dollars, and then those dollars are used to buy the very expensive carts. Or cars and parts.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Did you just hint that there's like an extra level of obfuscation there?
I don't think it was a hint.
It wasn't a hint.
It wasn't a hint. There is an extra level of obfuscation there.
Yeah,
in terms of you buy coins with real money and then you buy dollars
Yes.
with coins.
Yes.
And then, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, but I'm sure, because I mean, to avoid confusion, each coin is a penny and each dollar is 100 coins, right?
I don't remember the exact ratio. I'll be honest. I didn't pay enough attention other than to look at it and go, "Oh
That's
no."
frustrating.
And then I left. And certainly now, before you think there's some sort of shenanigans going on, you can, as you drive around the world, you will occasionally see dollars that you can drive over to collect, and by completing goals, you'll earn.
So that means dollars are worth very little money then.
Oh, are you kidding? I have probably a few dozen from my short time playing, my admittedly short time playing. And
so how much is a car?
$5,000, $10,000.
Oh, fuck video games. It's so stupid.
This is the bad part about this is that the game looks really good and I would like to play it.
Yeah.
However, I mean, I probably will play it anyway, but
I mean, if you're fine just playing the default car, it's not a bad car.
There's has to be extra stuff. I mean, I'm sure you can get more cars than just the default. Right?
I mean, like I said, I've only noodled around with it for like half an hour.
Yeah.
So far, but yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, the gameplay was great. It was like, boy, this seems like it's a lot of fun. Ooh, boy, they want more money, don't they?
Yeah.
I already gave you guys a bunch of money, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, there was some. Oh, I'll throw this in because CJ might be interested in this. There's a game I picked up on Switch called Murtop.
I am interested in this.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I played a demo of it in Steam Next Fest.
So you know what this is?
I do. So, it's Dig Dug and Bomberman.
It is. It's from it's not. I don't believe it's the same developer, but it's from the same publisher who brought out that Donut Dodo game.
Yeah, I don't think it is the same developer.
No,
but certainly stylistically very much kind of that same vein where it's the feel of a retro arcade game, but it's a brand new game.
Trying to be like a classic 80s arcade machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, this is whereas Donut Dodo clearly took inspiration from Donkey Kong, Murtop, which I don't is there something about that name that I am missing?
I don't know.
I don't get what that name is.
Why is it called Murtop? Yeah.
Because this is very much it's a Dig Dug ripoff with elements of Bomberman, because you play a little bunny who digs underground. I mean, it just, if you look at a screenshot, you just say, oh, that's Dig Dug.
Yeah.
Except you're a bunny. And it's, complete with dropping rocks on enemies and stuff like that. But instead of your air pump to destroy enemies, your bunny poops out a bomb, which then explodes Bomberman style. So you need to poop out your bomb and then quickly get out of the path of destruction, lest you become a victim of your own hubris. But it's a cute game.
It is a very cute game.
It's a very cute game. So if you liked Donut Dodo,
which I very much did,
absolutely, and this is worth picking up. And you played the demo,
I played the demo, and yeah, I do think it's worth picking up. But also, it's super cheap. It's on sale right now for $3.99. Its regular price is $4.99. You kind of can't go wrong.
There you go
with that price.
Absolutely
on the Switch. It's on Steam as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, I love this trend of companies taking sort of that gameplay you might remember from 80s arcade games, mashing it up with something else, and like bringing forward like modern responsive controls to the whole thing as well. I think that's an important part of it, and releasing it on a modern console. There's another one coming out very soon called Hoppy Hop.
Hoppy Hop?
Hoppy Hop. And it is, I think the developers who did that Alex Kidd retread thing. This is a side game from them. And this one is Qbert. But with a bunny, and it's the gameplay of Qbert with a very sort of 16-bit style.
We've really gone back to like the old
graphics.
days of home computers where people were just remaking arcade games with different graphics.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but I like this trend.
Yeah, boy, that does look like, you know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like Qbert 3.
It very much does look like Qbert 3.
Because of the layout of the stages.
Yeah, or even the PlayStation and Dreamcast Qbert. You remember that game?
I forgot about those.
Which, by the way, I loved that reboot.
Yeah.
Thought that was a great, really fun reboot. But yeah, Hoppy Hop, and it kind of looks like it gets a little crazy difficult.
Yeah.
but I'm there for it. That comes out in the middle of June. So.
I'm also I'm looking at Hoppy Hop's Steam page right now.
Yeah.
And it has a bonus round that's just the original Mario Brothers.
Yes, correct. It does. The bonus game is very much
very
much that.
So if you loved Qbert and Mario Brothers, get Hoppy Hop. If you love Dig Dug and Bomberman, get Murtop.
Yep.
What other classic arcade games will be smushed together next?
Only
tune in to find out.
Yeah.
And then I just played something called Humanity. But I'll let you talk about that, CJ.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Humanity.
It's a good game.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because you're my friend.
Thank you. Humanity is the new release from Enhance, which is a company that I work for, in case anybody didn't know that. And
yeah, I'm sure people missed that over these last few months.
Over the last few months, yeah. And it's out finally, and it's an action puzzle game where you're a little glowing Shiba Inu, and sort of a 3D puzzle platformer, Lemmings-ish. I guess a lot of people have compared it to Lemmings, but you're guiding this sort of horde of people who are always marching forward into lighted goals, sort of a rapture style event where they're being taken up into the light. And I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously, I've played it a lot over the last 2 years, but it released on Tuesday, May 16th last week, and it's been really well received, which I'm very happy about. You know, when you work on a game over a period of time, you kind of lose sight on what people are going to think of it once it's out. Like, you have a biased opinion, but also you're just not sure how it's going to be received. And especially kind of in this right next to Zelda kind of world, like, how is it going to be received? And it's been received very well. It has an 86 on Metacritic, which places it higher than Jedi Survivor and higher than Hogwarts Legacy. And I'm pretty happy about that. So it's been well received, which is nice. And the other thing is that it has a user-generated content piece of it as well. And this was the part maybe I was most excited about, because obviously we have a game that has its story campaign and people are going to play and enjoy that. But then the user-generated content piece, you kind of wonder, like, okay, what community is going to come up around this game? And are we going to have to ban a lot of people for making inappropriate content? And what's that going to be like? And now that we're about a week in, I've just been like super happy with all of the content that I've seen in there. I've been jumping in like almost every day and just playing a lot of the stuff that's in the new arrivals section, which are like, you know, what people have just uploaded. And I've just been amazed at some of the stuff that's coming out in there. And it's great because we have this single player game, and that's sort of standalone by itself. And then we have this user generated piece, which is sort of like an unlimited amount of puzzles using the mechanics of Humanity. So it's been great. And we haven't had to ban a single person, knock on wood.
Really?
Yeah, we have not had to like remove any stages yet, which is a shocker.
Challenge accepted.
No,
You brought this on yourself, Johnston.
I know. Considering it's the internet and this game is a PlayStation Plus extra and premium game, which means a lot of people are downloading it on PlayStation for free.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, like, you kind of don't know what you're going to get. But maybe it's just that puzzle game players don't have that mindset where they immediately model the thing that you figure they will model. But yeah.
What's that?
I'm not going to say it.
Because I'll be honest, there are a couple things that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But
I
guess it just depends which variety of terrible you want.
I know. Yeah. But there have been a lot of good stuff. There's a level that we're featuring right now that's a Japanese shrine level that somebody built, and it looks really nice. And then it's also kind of a Donkey Kong level as well. There are boulders like coming down, and you use this mechanic from the game Follow, where the people like follow behind the Shiva dog, kind of like Pikmin. And you navigate around this little maze trying to avoid boulders as they fall, and it's pretty challenging, pretty fun. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I've been watching streamers play the game as well. That's always been fun. I always have to not try to backseat game in their chat. But yeah, Humanity is out and is being well received. So I'm very, very happy about that. I hope people play it and enjoy it. Yeah.
They should.
Yes.
What game were we talking about?
Humanity. And with that, Enhance now has 3 games in the top 10 PlayStation 5 releases of 2023.
That's
on
awesome.
Metacritic. So
wow,
it's pretty fantastic. Yes. All right. We can talk a little bit about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom now, too. Unless you wanted to heap more praise onto Humanity, Phil.
I mean,
or Greg.
let me tell you the feelings I've experienced.
You what?
As I play through Humanity, I am reminded of the goodness inherent in humanity, not just the game, certainly, but in us as a species to reach this zenith where we can create something as monumentally truthful as what I've experienced in this game.
Yes.
Do you understand this? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
It's an important thing, work of art. To call it a game is a disservice. It goes beyond that. It reaches
that, huh?
Yeah. It's fine. It's cute. You can be a dog.
You can be a dog. Yeah, I've made a bunch of stages in this game. I normally do not really partake in level editors.
Right.
But I've made a couple stages in this one, including one where I modeled some houses. I called it The Neighbors, and the puzzle is the people walk out of the house and you have to get them around the backyard and up, climbing up the houses and into the chimneys is the goal. And you have to do it in
just like in real life,
in 5 moves. And yeah, it's probably not hard if you've played the game a whole bunch, but I think it'll stump some people.
Okay.
But I have fun just going into the level editor and making stuff. And yeah, I hope other people do too.
Beautiful.
Anyway, let's talk about Tears of the Kingdom, because that's what people are playing now. And when I log into the Switch, I have like 30, 40 friends playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, everyone's
at any one
time.
Zelda. Yeah, everyone's playing Zelda. And I am playing
Except for
Zelda.
Phil.
Right.
Greg's playing Zelda.
I am.
And Greg, it's hard to say, like, where are you in this game? Because there is an amazing amount of freedom.
So, I mean, since we spoke last week, because I think you and I went the same direction from Hyrule Field, which was to go northwest,
which is what the game
Dorito. Yeah, they kind of shepherds you in that direction.
Yeah.
And
which I like the fact that they do that.
I do too. And I have more to say about that. So, and that's kind of the main thrust of the thing that I want to talk about with the game. But talking about that and getting to the Wind Temple was great. I really, really enjoyed like the whole process of getting there. Like, first of all, like obviously they sort of send you in that direction, and on the way you get to your first stable, and you do you meet Impa, and you do that first geoglyph challenge and everything. So you're like, it's really opening up a lot in the game. And then like it kind of gets you to the point where you have to go up into the Sky Kingdom and traverse all these floating islands just to get to the Wind Temple. And that section was amazing. I enjoyed that so much.
Same.
Yeah, because you had, I forget the name of the character, little bird character. Tulin. You had this little bird character named Tulin with you, where they could use a blast of wind, with their wings. So while you were gliding, you could get them to give you a blast of wind, and it would just shoot you forward. Which of course you had to use liberally on your way there. But yeah, actually, and it was funny because the Wind Temple was okay, but it was actually like a little bit, I don't want to say disappointing, because it wasn't disappointing, but it was just like the journey to get there was way more interesting than the Wind Temple ended up being.
I agree with that.
But it was still way better than any of the whatever they were called in the previous game, the big animals, the divine beasts. Way more interesting than that. It was part of a big airship, and it's sort of, they really wanted you to. I thought it was a crazy idea to get you into like this whole like airborne situation so early in the game, because I mean you spend so much of your time in that temple floating around this like endless drops. I mean the final boss is all airborne. Like you there's very little purchase anywhere in that final the boss of that temple, but the whole thing was great. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Me too. I like that temple.
Yeah.
Is that what you've been doing? Is that like where you've stopped, or what are you doing
now?
No,
I'm a lot further than that. So so like when I was done the Wind Temple, I jumped back down to the surface, and
also big question here. Have you gone into one of those chasms?
Well, I'll get to that. And I guess we probably should have prefaced this with spoilers.
Spoilers?
Because but no. So here's what happened next. So I went back down to sort of the entrance, the place where you kind of start going up into the floating islands. There's a little shack there with a shield like a famous shield surfer who says she wants to set up a course, but because of the blizzard, she couldn't do it. So when you land, of course the blizzard is over, and you go to that shack and you find out she's missing. And I ended up surfing down the hill and finding her students, and then finding the cave that she was trapped in. And like it was great. Like that's the type of thing, that's the level of exploration that I'm really enjoying about this game. And I know that Breath of the Wild was the same way. I know this isn't anything new, but it was like my exploration was really being rewarded there, and it was and cool things were happening. But what happened sorry.
Let me say something real quick. You say a lot of that stuff was also in Breath of the Wild. To me, the difference here is that I find there are a lot of these sort of side adventure things that have a narrative sort of element to them that feel good to actually complete. And in Breath of the Wild, they had some of those, but not a whole lot. And most of them were related to the Divine Beast quest. You couldn't like stumble upon as many of these that I am in this game, where,
right,
I haven't even done the one that you're talking about, but I'm thinking of like all the ones that I have come across and started.
Right.
And I'm sure you've run into the newspaper.
Yeah, I did that on the way to the temple, like on my way to the sort of begin that temple run.
Yeah, and that sort of unlocks little side missions.
Yeah,
at every single stable.
Yeah.
In the game, and then there are also those side missions that you'll just stumble upon elsewhere. And to me, like, it's different than Breath of the Wild in that there's a lot more of that stuff, and they're rewarding and not too long to complete either. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm going to be doing this for like the next 30 hours or something. Like, it gives you a nice little boost.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm really enjoying. Everything you just said, I 100% agree with. But something that happened to me while I was playing that I vividly remember this happening, and I don't remember a whole lot about Breath of the Wild, but is that I decided, okay, so, because when you start, it shows you where all the different temples are on the map. Now, your map isn't completed, so they're just, these little yellow dots all over the map. So there's one that's pretty much due south of, which is, it happens to be in the desert. I think you probably know that if you're paying attention to the text at the very beginning. So I'm like, okay, I'm really enjoying sort of the traversal. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm not enjoying the traversal so much as the discovery along the way. So I literally just pointed my nose south and started going that direction. Mm-hmm. And the game didn't want me to do that. Like that's the only way I can describe it. There were things to discover on the way, but I also got into the situation where there were these vast areas where there was very little to do. There was a ton of climbing to do, which I know is them saying, don't go this way, like go around. But, I'm stubborn and I didn't want to do that. So I just wanted to see where I could get to. And so I hit this point where I actually found this interesting spot. And I assume you've seen some shrines like this. There are shrines you can find that you can't see.
I haven't found any that I can't see, actually.
Okay, so you'll come to like the little sort of sandy area and the little structure in the front where you walk up and Link touches it and that's what opens the shrine. But the actual like rock or mound or whatever it is isn't there. And what it is there's a crystal nearby. And so the crystal will activate the shrine. And when you either find the crystal or you find the place where the shrine would be and you interact with it, it just tells you to follow the beam of light. And it'll create a beam of light that connects the area for the shrine and the little green crystal. Okay. So it's just a puzzle to get the shrine to unlock, basically. And so I'd done one previously, and then I found this one in this. It looked like a dried up lake bed, and there were two holes, so there was a cave system underneath, and that's where this little crystal was. So of course the challenge was to get the crystal out of, like, levitate it somehow out of the cave. Right, like you go down, and there was no easy way to walk back up. I think in hindsight there probably was, but I overcomplicated it because that's what I do. So one of the things I tried after a while was to connect a bunch of things into a long device that I could use to try to lift this thing up out of the cave. But there was nothing down there. Like there was a few plants, but nothing else. So I literally ended up dropping all my weapons and connecting them all into one long rod. Because you actually there's a way to get a chest in the Wind Temple the exact same way, where you connect these pieces and then you connect them to the chest and pull it out through a little hole in the wall. That's how you get to the chest. There's no way to get to it otherwise.
I don't think I did that in the Wind Temple.
You didn't. We talked about this on chat. Anyway, so I'm thinking, well, I'm going to do that again. That's going to work. So I tried it, but of course the contraption that I had built collapsed. Not because of the weight of the gem, but because I screwed up trying to get it out through the hole above me. Because that's not very easy to do in that when you're using the magic hand to manipulate things. You can't look up. So
maybe Ultra Hand?
Yeah, whatever. So the weapons disconnected from each other and fell on me, but they're weapons. So they hurt me when they fell on me. And they killed me.
I mean, of course they did.
They killed me. So, and since I wasn't holding any of them when I died, when I respawned, I had no weapons.
Oh.
no resources
Greg,
anywhere
I'm
around.
going to say this is user error. This
It's
is the
not.
very
No. Okay.
definition
No, I get
of
that.
user.
But anyway, so I was like, well, screw this. I'm clearly not doing this temple. So I left that temple behind, that shrine behind, and I kept heading south. And it was just like, it was a lot of climbing. There wasn't a whole lot happening. It became really tedious. And it wasn't just because I didn't have any resources, but it was, to the point that I ended up turning the game off. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to play this. And I turned it off. And I was like, is this going to be my breaking point? Like, is the honeymoon over here? And now I'm back to Breath of the Wild, and I'm just not into this anymore. But I gave that about an hour, and then I turned it back on. And I kept playing. And I'm really enjoying it. So I did end up getting to the desert, but I was still pretty low on resources. And when you get into the desert, just like when you're in the cold area, you need to use something to enhance your heat protection, right? And I didn't have anything. So, but there was a shrine right next to like the oasis. And so I did the shrine, and then I was like, okay, I've got to go back to the landing because I have I've done all these shrines. I need to pray to the sun goddess and get some more hearts and some more stamina, and I need to trade in all these bubble frog things that I've been picking up, and although I don't know if that's where you do it. So when I went back, of course, a whole bunch of story stuff has been triggered now. And so I never actually did go back to the desert, because that was when Goggles, is his name Goggles? The little research dude.
Yeah.
He says, there's a big chasm just south of here. So I want you to come with me. And that's your introduction to the chasms, right? The official game introduction to the chasms. And so I ended up
says Robbie is the character's name, but I believe he is referred to as Goggles by another character.
So I ended up going down there. But anyway, and there was a bunch of other stuff. Like another thing that happened is when you go down into like they have like a little bunker in the center of town. And there's a woman down there. I don't know if you've done this, CJ. There's a woman down there who's sweeping.
I've done this,
yeah. And at one point she says she broke the wall and she can hear a demon calling to her. And she's all freaked out. And like, if you smash your way through the wall, it's the first time you find, I think they're called exchange statues, where you can pay to exchange a heart for stamina and vice versa.
Yeah.
But there's a whole cave system in there.
There is, yeah.
Like a huge cave system in there. So I ended up exploring that for a couple of hours. But you need a lot of bombs or a lot of hammers. There's stones everywhere that you can create hammers with. But see, again, I ran into a situation where there's a boss down there, but you have to sort of free the boss out of a mound of rock before you can fight it. And I ran out of stuff to do that with. And it was another one of the situations where I'm like, I don't want to go all the way back out and find bomb flowers or, so I ended up sorting it out. I ended up sort of brute forcing my way through that and getting the boss to appear. And the reward kind of sucked. There was no real good reward there, but it was a really cool area because I loved how it was sort of like this walled off basement area of the castle, basically. That's floating above you. And yeah, and then I went and did like the underworld stuff for a little while, and again, back to like when you start going south and kind of points you in that direction, there's so much to discover on the way.
Yeah.
That I keep find what I'm doing, what you're doing, which is like, well, I have an ultimate goal. Like I want to get these towers done so I can uncover the map and get back to the oasis in the desert. That's where I want to go next.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what's that over there? And there's a fortress over there, and here's another chasm, and this person, and I came across, I don't know, there's a stable on the road there. That was the last thing I did tonight, where I ended up getting attacked by a bunch of those assassins.
Oh, the Yiga clan?
Yeah, the Yiga clans. First time I've seen them now.
Oh, okay.
And that was part of the newspaper side quest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So what I'm saying is, I can't put it down. I've put it down twice, but I keep picking it back up.
Yeah.
So
I have not actually gone over to the Gerudo Desert yet. I decided after the Wind Temple to kind of bum around and do some side quests and then go towards Zora's domain.
Okay.
And I'm in the middle of doing that stuff now. And I'm kind of centering around the 4 points of interest on the map that they put down for you when you first arrive in
Yeah.
Hyrule. I'm kind of thinking I will go and do those sort of in order, but allow myself to get distracted if I run into something. And I'm trying to do Skyview Towers as I see
They're still
them.
my focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm doing the same thing. It's just that on my way south from the Sky Temple, it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't an enjoyable trip, but it was one thing that did happen, which I mean, in hindsight is kind of funny is, and I've seen 2 of these things now. When I reached the summit of this gigantic mountain that I had to climb, I came over a rise and it looked like what was like a giant sword in the mountain. Like it wasn't like a giant sword as in something that Link could wield. It's like it's part of a giant statue or something like that. It's gigantic. And standing on a platform right next to it is, I forget what the name of this creature is, but it's like a 3-headed dragon.
Gleeok.
Yes, a Gleeok.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was. I didn't have the camera at the time. I have the camera now. And I remember coming over the hill and seeing it and just coming to a dead stop, and it's like, nope. I'm not doing that. There's no way. I'm not pissing that thing off. I'm gonna give it a really wide berth, and I'll be back later.
I went to the there's that whatever, like stadium or Coliseum
That's
area.
where I saw the second one. I saw that tonight.
I saw
right next
a
to the
Gleeok in there, and I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Not going to do that yet. And I've seen throughout the game, like you see one on Hyrule Bridge, and then you see one in the Lanayru area too. So eventually I'm going to fight them, but not now. No.
Yeah, no, it's where the quest where I ended up getting attacked by the assassins, that takes you right next to the Coliseum. So I saw that tonight as well. And there was a guy down in that stable who warned you, like, you should go look at the Coliseum ruins. They're really neat, but there's a terrible creature that's made a home there, and you'll probably end up testing your might against it. And yeah, I climbed up. It's like, oh, that looks like the Coliseum. And I climbed up onto the wall and looked down. It's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Not right now.
One thing that we haven't really talked about, and this is a spoiler for people who haven't seen it yet, is that so there's the Sky Islands. We knew about those.
The
Skylands. And then you mentioned the underground, which is officially called the Depths.
Right.
And you go into the depths through those chasms and explore. It's basically a mirror of the surface, but underground and dark. And you need those of plants that I forget what they're called, bright bloom seeds or whatever.
Bloom, I think, yeah.
That you use, you attach to arrows and shoot them at the landscape, and they sort of
bloom.
Stay and light your way. Yeah. And
you need to, it's filled with gloom as well. So you can't just kind of, because you can always see in the distance, usually like there's where I'm going, but it's between here and there is pitch black. And if you step in the gloom, you lose hearts.
Yeah,
like you don't just lose life. They actually the hearts get broken.
That's right. And you can't just eat food to recover down there. Because you'll have wasted the food. You don't recover anything. Yeah. And I feel like the Depths is a very interesting angle to this game that I haven't really explored too much of yet, but I heard people say that like the lights that you find in the Depths, like you have to go to these sort of seeds, right, that are larger lit.
Those like roots
up areas. Yeah, it look like roots. That's apparently underneath where shrines are on the map too.
Yeah, what's his name said that?
Did he say that?
Robbie said that.
Wasn't paying attention apparently. But and there's I don't know, it's just a kind of a really cool area because it feels like you're really exploring like this unknown map. You don't know what's down there in any particular direction, and
well, I mean that's the overarching goal, right?
What's that?
The overarching goal down there is to create the map.
to create the map. Yeah, and I kind of love it for that.
Yeah,
I kind of am loving that that bit of the game.
Although again, the enemies down there are covered in gloom too. So if they hit you, they don't just damage you. They actually, I say break the hearts, but that's the only thing I can think of, because you can you can make food that will repair those hearts.
That's right.
But if you stand under one of those seeds after you light it up, it'll heal you as well.
It heals you. Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm really curious to see how that whole thing plays out, because I've only just started venturing down there, and I feel like that's going to be a huge part of the game.
So I had one thing happen tonight, and I'm curious if you've seen this. And as I'm thinking about it, I probably could have just fired arrows at this thing. So I did. There's a tower just south of the landing that's actually been fortified. Yes. And it's kind of a fun little battle to get up to the top.
It is
I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that too.
And it's just, there's tons of explosives everywhere. So you can just fire a bomb into it and, and have at it. But so I did that tower, and while I was up there, outside of doing the Wind Temple, I haven't really explored the Sky Islands very much.
Me neither.
So I was like, well, I'm up here. There's one right there. So I'm just going to glide over to that, and it's the Archipelago, it's called. And it's like I'm going to mess around and, do that stuff. And I did a little bit of searching, and it was really neat. Although I think the island that I needed to get to, I kind of screwed up and I didn't quite make it. So I ended up falling back to the surface. So when I landed at the surface, I wasn't that far away from the tower, and I'd left my horse there. I was far enough away that he wouldn't come to me if I whistled. So I was like, well, I want to keep heading south, but he's pretty close up north. So I'm just going to run toward him until I can call him. And it ended up at this at these ruins surrounded by a lake. I forget what it's called. It's on the map, like it's named on the map. And while I was there, out of the blue, this pool of gloom appeared with these hands and started chasing me. And it's friggin' fast.
It is real fast.
Like I said, as I'm thinking about it now, I probably could have used like my time ability on it, or I think the hands have eyes on them. Maybe I could shoot them.
They do have eyes on them, and you can shoot them. Yes.
Okay. But it was just like,
they drop an item.
What the hell is happening? Yeah. And it was the same thing. Like they grab you and shake you, and they break the hearts. And I just happened to have a fairy on me. I managed to capture a fairy earlier in the game. And so I did die. The fairy healed me. And I was just like, screw this. And I quick traveled out of there completely. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not ready for whatever that was.
Yeah.
So
you can shoot arrows at it, and eventually it does kind of stop, and then it drops some items that you can then use. Yeah.
Okay.
To make gloom restoring or like meals that'll restore your hearts after you run into gloom.
Okay. But I just wasn't ready for it. And just how fast it was. It was crazy.
Yeah. So that tower that you're talking about that's fortified, I did that as well. And I used the ascend ability to kind of go through.
Yeah, me too. Up to the bridge.
Up to the bridge. Yeah. And I was then focused on the enemies that were in that little.
Somebody got hit with a spiked ball.
And then I got hit with a spiked ball and died. And I was like, oh.
I did the exact same thing. I just happened to have because there's like a big enemy on like the third platform.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was in a cartoon. I teleported up to the bridge, but I didn't finish the climb. I like moved the camera around, and it's like, okay, so the only real enemy that can see me if I come out here is this guy. And there was an explosive barrel right next to me, and there were a bunch around him. So I just got up and I threw the barrel, and I just happened to have walked to the right of the platform. So as I'm throwing the barrel and the explosion's happening, this gigantic spiked ball rolls by me. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was still a fun little battle.
That's fun.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's stuff like that the game really shines.
Yeah.
And like,
have you gotten to the bit with the musicians yet who are trying to get the band back together?
I have met them, and actually the stable that I was just at, the ferry nearby, is a music lover. So clearly that's part of part of that quest.
Yeah. That's fun. And then there's also I don't know if you ever did this in Breath of the Wild where you get masks that are of the enemies, like the bokoblins and the moblin mask
I
and things
probably
like
did.
that. And then you can blend in with those enemies, so you can basically walk right into a camp, a bokoblin camp, and they will notice you. Like they'll look at you, but they won't do anything. They won't attack you.
Nice.
And there's a side quest to get those masks, and it's awesome, of course.
Yeah.
I have a moblin mask now and a bokoblin mask, and it's a lot of fun. And then I started scanning amiibos because I have all the Zelda amiibo, and got like a classic Link green cap.
Oh, nice.
As well that I'm using. You can get like a lot of cool Zelda armor items, so I'm doing that. You can only do those amiibo once per day, but I'm doing that to try to get those.
I'm currently wearing Hylian armor because it was in that cave system underneath the castle. You can find the pants and the armor.
Right. I need to explore that more, but
it's cool. It just, my only thing was that I went in unprepared.
I got some of the items and I ran into the demon there, but I didn't.
You didn't go nearly deep enough into that cave system.
Okay, I guess I gotta go deeper.
There is I spent a good hour in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got to be ready with. You've got to create hammers, and you really should have a bunch of bombs with you. Like buy some bombs before you go in, because you're digging your way to each chamber, basically.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And when there's a room you'll get to where there's a giant pile of rock in the middle of it. That's what you want to dig into.
Okay. I do love though that the game does not limit you on what you can do. Like, I've seen some videos on social media of people who like you attach the stomach of one of those enemies. I forget which one. It's an item that you get from monsters that I don't think I ever used in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. And you attach it to your shield, and then when you put out your shield, you start floating up. And
oh, really?
You can kind of, like, I've been watching videos of people who have like cheesed shrines using some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you watch some of those videos and then you start thinking of, okay, like how can I cheese this situation that I'm in? Oh, I can use Ascend here, or I can do this. Or like I hear people on podcasts saying, those big bosses that are made of rock that also now have bokoblin forts on them and move around. It's like,
I haven't seen those yet.
I ran up to it and I used Ascend on it and I got on that way. And it's like, oh, okay. Like not even like thinking in that mindset sometimes that, oh yeah, I can use these abilities and totally cheese my way through. I've also started doing a lot more fusing. Even regular weapons, if you fuse some of these monster parts that you get to those weapons, they become incredibly powerful.
Yeah. I have a bunch of weapons now that are like 40 or 50.
Same.
Especially when you start, because I think, like, I know the game scales the enemies based on, I'm not sure exactly what. Somebody in our chat, our Discord chat, was saying that Breath of the Wild did that based on how many kills you had.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And I know that I'm starting to run into bokoblins who are much tougher than they have been. But they're also dropping, like, the claws and things that they're dropping feel like they're way more powerful too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like I said last week, the game wants you to fuse everything to everything. And because of that, I mean, the weapon breakage, it still happens, but it doesn't feel nearly as frequent as it did last time.
No, it doesn't. I'm also so I never really used to use the two-handed weapons very much in Breath of the Wild.
A lot.
But now what I'm doing is if I get a powerful two-handed weapon, I fuse it to something that's one-handed, and then you can swing it like a sword. You can swing it fast.
Really?
So, like,
go.
yeah, you use that as the thing you fuse to a one-handed weapon, and then it becomes just a huge ass
Right.
sword.
You use the one-handed weapon as a base.
Use the one-handed
Yeah.
weapon as a base, or a spear, or whatever you're going to use as the
Yeah.
base, and it works real well. So I am loving this game. I think before it came out, I know a lot of people were saying, oh, it's just, a DLC pack for Breath of the Wild. And it feels like Breath of the Wild again, but a lot of the stuff feels so new because of the mechanics
Mhm.
of the game, and also the focus on narrative elements, and the fact that like the landing, uh lookout landing is so much more lively, and the
Yeah.
towns feel a lot more lively, and the stables, again, there's stuff happening there. The whole like bit of civilization that exists in Hyrule now feels more realized than it did in Breath
Yeah,
of the
and
Wild.
I feel like they're doing a great job of having those characters progress in different ways.
Mhm.
Like when I came back to Lookout Landing after being in Rito, all these NPCs, so many of them that were just sort of nobody NPCs, all of a sudden had little exclamation points next to their speech balloons, which means obviously
Yeah.
they have a side quest for you. Like, I mean, the first time I had been to Lookout Landing and talking to the lady sweeping downstairs, I mean, that's such a standard adventure game NPC that's not doing anything interesting and doesn't really have anything interesting to say.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden she like kicks off this little mini quest underneath the castle.
Yeah. That
And
wasn't there
there's just a
before
lot
when
of
you
that.
first met
Right.
her, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I don't have strong memories of Breath of the Wild. If you say that that's something that wasn't as prevalent in Breath of the Wild, I
It
believe
wasn't.
you, because
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this a lot, and I feel like I would remember that if it was a thing in that game. So,
Yeah, it wasn't as much. No.
yeah, no, I'm really digging it a lot. I can't. I
Yeah.
find even. I mean, I'm not saying that there's never frustrating moments. There are.
Of course.
And at least twice this week, I've been like, nope, I'm done. Not necessarily with the game, but I just need to stop now because I'm getting irritated. And
Yeah.
I need to stop. But like an hour or two later, I fire it back up. So
I
I
found
wish I
that
knew how many hours I'd spent on it so far this week. It's been a lot.
in those moments where I get frustrated, I just warp to a different part of the map and go from there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess I'll go in this direction for a little while. And so far, the game has not disappointed me for making those types of decisions.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's what we've been playing this week. That means it's time for tweets.
A tweedly diddly dee. A tweedly diddly dee. Tweet. Oh, tweet. A tweet, tweet.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Chains Unbound, who says game development isn't easy and takes a lot of work
Yeah, it
to
is.
get a game over the finish line. However, so many game developers experience vitriol online as players. How can we say thanks to the development team for all the effort and hard work it took to make a game we are enjoying?
Cash. Send them cash.
Send them cash.
Don't forget the brave heroes who do the marketing writing.
True. Do not forget those brave heroes. They are part of the development
Heroes.
team.
Yes. Absolutely.
No,
Cash
I mean,
money.
I would say it's worth tweeting at developers and saying how much you appreciate their game, like especially indie developers. I think that means a lot.
Oh, for sure.
I think
to
it means a lot
folks.
to a lot of them that aren't indie developers too. I mean,
Well, and that
especially like the tweet says, in general, like the internet is such a negative place. Social media,
Yeah.
especially, is such a negative place. If they happen to be on social media, which probably a lot of them aren't anymore, and who could blame them?
Yeah.
A very public, like, I love this.
Yeah.
I think probably goes further than you think it does.
It's true.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. And also social media is just a negative cesspool. the moment. Like I'm trying to like stay off of it for the most part. But anyway, let's
Hang
see.
on, I gotta check Facebook.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this one from Hackeralius Mudron, who says, "How do you get extra batteries?" I think he's yelling in this tweet. Why are there like 6
I've never
different
known.
Zonite charge currencies?
I've never known Mudron to yell
in fights because they tried to squeeze too many actions onto the controller. Otherwise, it's a good game. Yes.
He's not wrong about a lot of that stuff. There's definitely a lot going on in that controller.
There is a lot, and I end up doing the motion to throw my weapon when I mean to
all
do
the time.
the other
I do
thing
too.
all the time.
It's just like, damn it. And then I'm like jamming on B because I know now if I let go of the stupid button, he'll throw the weapon.
He'll throw the weapon. Yeah, you can't do that. You have to press B. Yeah. I haven't even really gotten to the point where I'm looking at extra batteries. Like, and I know there's an economy there that I should definitely be paying attention to. I just got into the bit from the trailer where you're sailing your paraglider through the sky and you get into kind of this circular looking Death Star thing. You remember that from one of the trailers? Anyway, I just did a shrine in one of those, and it had a Zonai dispenser thing that I got a bunch of things out of.
I have not thought about the Zonai stuff since the first dispenser in the opening area.
Oh, really?
Like I don't pay. I mean, I'm picking them up.
Yeah, I usually do a couple spins in the Zonai gacha.
I haven't found
every
one.
time. Really? Okay.
If I was to reach one, I would use it, but
yeah, there's one in Kakariko Village or nearby, and there's usually
one
in
on
the
way
sky.
to Rito.
In the sky.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I haven't been in the sky very much.
I haven't either. I feel like I should be in the sky more than I am, but I haven't really needed to be. So
yeah, exactly. It's the game sort of hasn't drawn me there, except to get up to the Wind Temple.
Yeah.
So,
it's such a good game. All right. Listener Maddie asks, "What was the last traditional Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, game you played? Is that style of game extinct or unwanted now?"
Link's Awakening, the remake.
Yeah, Link's Awakening.
That was it. That was the last one.
Yeah, I played Skyward Sword when the remake of that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that remake came out.
It did.
It's a good game. I know this is an unpopular
I always said
opinion.
it was a good game.
I like Skyward Sword. I don't like it as much as I like Wind Waker.
I hate motion controls, and I really like Skyward Sword.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I don't know if that's gone yet. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's been stated at this point that this is the new template for Zelda games, and yeah, probably, that I again, why wouldn't it be? I mean,
exactly.
This game is massively outperforming, I think, every other Zelda game that's ever come out.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to keep it that way, and they've got something good going there. I recommended it to one of our listeners, Ken, one of the guys that I race with. We were chatting one night after our race, and he was asking about it, and they've even tapped into that Minecraft crowd with all the building, which I'm not really using a whole lot. But I mean, you go online and see the contraptions people are building, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, maybe he might grab it earlier than he expected because his son is such a huge Minecraft fan. And I was like, yeah, I really think it would go a long way. So yeah, I if I was them, I wouldn't change it, but I do hope that the older style is around, even if it's more remakes. I think Mudron was in here earlier in our chat, mentioned that he would love to see a remake of Zelda 2, which I would desperately love to see a remake of Zelda 2.
Absolutely.
It's such a unique game in the whole series.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's underrated personally. It's one of my favorites. I would love to see that redone with a more modern sensibilities.
Like a Link's Awakening style.
Oh my god, it would be so fantastic.
Zelda 2 remake, forget it.
Yeah.
Well, you'll remember during the DS days, they did, Spirit Tracks and sort of those games. And
I love
Toon
Spirit
Link,
Tracks too.
Toon Link kind of became a separate track from mainline Zelda, right?
Right.
And I kind of would like to see that back, where
That
they
would be
do a
cool.
couple like side games where it's like, okay, it's not Breath of the Wild, it's not Tears of the Kingdom, but it's this.
Do you feel like where the Switch consolidated the handheld and console businesses for Nintendo, that sort of thing is less likely? Because I mean, we were getting a lot
but it
ever since
shouldn't
the Game
be.
Boy. We've gotten a lot of that, right? Like the
It
Game
shouldn't
Boy,
be.
and yeah, but the Game Boy and all the handhelds that came after were like the perfect home for these sort of smaller,
Yeah.
Interesting, maybe taking a little bit few more chances because they were smaller. Like that, it was great. And yeah, since the Switch is this all-in-one beast,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense for them to do that so much anymore. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, it's that, or like you could expand, I think, the world of Hyrule and take some of the characters that are in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and make their own game that's like a different mechanic, or like a side game that is shorter and not as involved as Tears of the Kingdom, but could still be a ton of fun. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they'll do, because I mean, having one Zelda game every 7 years is maybe a little.
Yeah, it stretches a little too long.
It's a too long of a stretch. Yeah, I'd like to see more, but yeah, who knows? I was hoping they would take the Link's Awakening remake style and do that with Ages and Seasons.
Did Ages and Seasons already come out on Nintendo Online?
Not yet, no.
But they are
Those
coming.
are planned. Yeah,
Yeah, those are great games.
they are.
I think I might replay those.
Yeah.
They are fantastic games. But all right, let's see. What other tweets do we have? I closed the window.
Amateur.
I know, right? Really shouldn't have done that.
Compelling radio.
I know, right?
Let's do this one this week.
Aurelius Nato says, "Whom would you cast for the inevitable Zelda movie?"
I don't know.
I have a terrible mind for that sort of thing.
No, wait,
I don't know any recent celebrities. Like
inevitable Zelda movie
mention is like old.
I mean, are we considering a Zelda movie inevitable because the Mario movie did really well?
I think so. Yeah.
And then, so are we casting a voice actor, or are we casting a live action Link?
I think voice. Yeah. I feel like Zelda is going to be animated also. I don't think they would do a live action.
Why would they do it anything else?
Yeah,
exactly.
Why would they? And how would you do a Zelda movie with a silent protagonist for 90 minutes? I don't know. Just make Chris Pratt Link.
I will say, and I get the whole silent protagonist thing because it's supposed to be representing you.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the silent protagonist Link, where this game feels more story driven, he doesn't work as well. I really wish he had some dialogue.
He doesn't, yeah. And in bits, there's an animation that he does that's like spreading his hands, like he's explaining something to another character, but you never hear him talk or anything. And it's it's starting to get weird.
Yeah, it is because they've decided to have the character you're speaking to carry on the one side of the conversation.
That's right.
As though they're hearing him say something. And it's just like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's a nitpicky thing, but it is sort of jarring when you see it happen.
It's like Luke Skywalker talking to R2-D2, where he has to kind of like.
That's exactly what it is.
But I mean, Link's not even making any noise.
No.
At least R2-D2, you could tell he was speaking some kind of language.
That's right, R2. I do agree that we should get into the spaceship right now. Exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think we have any casting suggestions for the Zelda movie. I want to see one.
I feel like Phil has suggestions.
I don't know.
Any stunt casting?
Pedro Pascal is Link.
Yes.
Daniel Radcliffe.
I'd watch it.
He's good at everything. I'd watch that too.
It's Daniel
delightful.
Radcliffe. He's good.
He's good. Yeah.
He could probably do it.
I'm sure he could.
If we're insisting
What
on
can't
casting,
he do?
Jason Momoa as Ganon. That's a good one, I think. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Is that it? I think that might be it.
I guess.
I think this episode has officially
Your
run
crappy
its course.
tweet selection has brought this whole thing to a screeching
Sorry, you know,
Wow.
ever since Twitter turned off their API, we don't get them in a nice document anymore. That has
You just got to start
changed.
paying them.
I don't want to.
Start paying
Good.
Papa Elon.
I
Good
don't
lad.
want to. I don't want to. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters or @P1 Podcast @mastodon.social. And you can also go to our internet website if you still fancy that kind of thing, player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Greg Seward. You'll find Generation 16 episodes there as well. And you'll find show notes and links to all the things we talked about and a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode, or you can discuss Tears of the Kingdom, or many, many other games with us and our other listeners.
I'm just noticing Bill Mudron in our chat is saying for the Zelda movie they should just MS Paint Zelda stuff onto the Dungeons and Dragons cast.
That movie's on Paramount Plus now. That Dungeons and Dragons.
Should watch it. It's
That
a lot
movie
of
is fun.
Yep.
Okay.
It is.
I should watch it then.
It
Yeah, I
is
gotta
my
get my
favorite
kids to watch
movie
it.
from 1987.
Excellent.
Yeah. If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're on Stitcher Radio or on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or watch us live most weeks on the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Twitch.televisions, all over the darn place, except of course for Twitter.
Yeah.
So join us. Won't you? We do this this Sunday, typically every Sunday at 5:30 Pacific time. So follow our Twitter or Mastodon accounts to find out when we are doing our next live show. And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way, because I don't know why. Just because it would be nice. You know what? It's a great way to thank your favorite game developers who made humanity.
Wait, what? No,
by giving.
I didn't have anything to do.
You had nothing to do with that.
Well,
no, I know. No, you know what? You know what your Patreon dollars do? They help support our show by letting us live stream, by all those little costs that come with a podcast. And I'll tell you what, friendos, if you are a Patreon subscriber of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode we recorded right after this, where we play games, crack wise, having fun, doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ, do we have a game for this week?
We do have a game, Phil.
Oh, hooray.
Yes, we do.
Huzzah.
It is another AI-driven quiz that Chris Baker, friend of the show, C-Bake, has sent us. So we're gonna do that, and it apparently has to do with us hosts as well.
Oh no!
So it's going to be very interesting to see what this is all about. We're gonna give it a go.
Oh, well, this could go horribly right.
Ways.
Many different ways. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's our dear friend Seabake. So who knows what he is willing to do to us?
It's true.
for entertainment purposes.
Sexy.
Well, join in for that, friends. And I'll tell you what, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward to help support Greg's outstanding, and it is indeed outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $5 variety,
also cheap,
you get access to the weekly commute, where I talk about all the different projects I've got running, updates on all of those. And the fun thing that I've been doing lately is reading some of my classic reviews from when I got my start at Gaming Age. By the way, if you're interested in hearing more about stuff like that, I guest hosted on a podcast this past week called Here's My Question for You, which is run by Chris Alimo and Corey Carlson of Classic Gaming Quarterly and My Life in Gaming, respectively. Great podcast. A couple of I don't know, people who listen to this show might not be interested. Couple of 40-something video game nerds talking about, actually not really talking a lot about games. I really enjoy it. And I got to be on there on an episode that was all about games, and it was all about my history in the industry, including Gaming Age, starting and stuff like that. So go check it out. But it's a good podcast. Other than that, it's a good podcast. So please check that out. But yeah, and please support Generation 16. Would really appreciate that.
Fantastic. Is that it?
Yep.
CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil.
Oh, always. Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Oh, absolutely. And as usual, a big ol' thank you to you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single last one of you. As always, take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Do what you got to do to be safe. Be kind. For crying out loud. And gee whiz, do we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.